What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Spectators. It is episode 154, and the NFL is officially here. We've done a lot of preseason stuff, including ranking all the players and getting hyped up with our hot takes and everything like that. And it's officially time to put those takes and put those predictions to the test with the season coming up. Brooklyn, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm recovering from this week one, bro. It was
Yes.
a lot of fun, bro. I, it's been such a long wait, it feels like.
Yeah, it,
And
it really has. And I mean, there's nothing longer than the wait to get the NFL season started. And I mentioned
yeah.
this, we were talking last night. I was like, dude, it's crazy because imagine you wait 9 months just to start 0-1. And I mean, I'm not going to count you in that because you're wearing a Buck shirt today. So I could not be us.
I but Bucks and Chiefs.
Yeah, we'll
Bucks
double
and Chiefs.
down. The
Two
BOGO.
winners.
Yeah,
Two
two
winners.
two winners. And speaking of winners, that's pretty much how we're going to go about this. We're going to go through our winners and losers for week one. I feel like typically in the week one, there's always a lot more winners and losers than in typical weeks because I have a lot of winners and I have a lot of losers. I don't know about you. We typically have some that overlap, but we'll get into that. And just excited for football. It was a really, really good weekend. Like the 1 o'clock window of games, they didn't look great, and then the way they ended was like insanity. Missed
Did you
kicks
do
everywhere.
anything yesterday?
I mean, I was hanging out with our boy Johnny that you came by after for the mid games, so we actually got to watch those together, which was nice. They did not show the Vikings much, which was sad, but it was all good. And then I watched most of the early games on my own, just at the crib. I tried my
Sick.
best not to watch that Bucks game last night. That was horrible. It was
That
not
was
fun.
that was
It
that,
was
that
not
was that
fun.
was rough.
Yeah, but we're gonna start with you, and I want you to give me a winner or a loser. Week one, NFL. The season just started. Who is one of your winners or losers?
I'm gonna go with a winner off
Okay,
rip.
I
And
like that.
shout out to the St. Brown family. I'm on
Yeah,
Ross St. Brown and bear with me. Equanimous St. Brown.
I think you said that right.
Shout out. But big shout out to the fam. They both score a touchdown week one, 2 minutes and 14 seconds apart from each other.
Yeah,
One
pretty
for the
cool.
Lions, one for the Bears. That's just such a cool thing. You got two brothers being able to just make something happen right there. I know
Simultaneously.
the fan back at home got the red zone on, see both of them on the TV.
Yeah,
They were going
they
crazy.
got the
So
split
got to put
jerseys.
them for the winners.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Amon Ra, we
Cool
saw at the end
moment.
of last year was fantastic, and clearly he's looking to be pretty good again this season. Um, yeah, that's definitely a really good winner. I'm gonna go. My winner is kind of in the same realm. Actually, my first winner is going to be elite high end wide receiver ones are a gigantic winner from this week. And I mean, it's kind of easy to just like look at, right? I mean, the guys who you think of as the top tier wide receivers in the league: Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, Travis Kelsey, all popped off. I mean, those are like the guys you look at. And then an up and comer is AJ Brown, who's actually second this week in rushing with the new offense. I know a lot of people were worried about how that was going to look in Philly because, you have Devontae Smith there, who didn't get a single reception, by the way. Kind of embarrassing. I mean, Justin Jefferson, 184 yards and two touchdowns
Sheesh.
in the first game against a really, really, really good Packers secondary. Like, that can't be overstated. That's one of the best secondaries in football, and he cooked them. Absolutely cooked them. And if this was a closer game, he would probably have 250, but it didn't need more yards, so it didn't wind up happening. And literally all those guys are just dogs. Stephon Diggs had 122 on opening night, and he was absolutely cooking Jalen Ramsey. I mean, if you're a tight, high-end wide receiver, you looked really good. That's just kind of how that went. Those are my winners. I like those guys. Shout out. Shout out to the boys. Shout out to Devontae. He gets to where he wants to in Oakland and balls out 141.
We love that.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Love to see it. I'm gonna give you another winner.
Okay.
There is a little bit of worries about Tariq Hill leaving. What's going to happen with Mahomes? Who he's going to throw to? Well, ain't no problem. Mahomes gets 5 touchdowns, so he's a winner just off of that. And the
Yeah.
Chiefs, maybe they don't got nothing to worry about. But as I'm looking at the stats and stuff, I come across something,
Okay.
and it says Mahomes has the most touchdowns without an interception in Week 1 with 18. In his 5 games that he started week 1 games, he has at least 3 passing touchdowns with no interceptions. Ties Peyton Manning and Tom Brady for the most since 1950. And
God.
then a little bit extra on top of that. Brady played 19 week 1 games, started.
Okay.
Manning had 17. Mahomes only 5. He's 5 for 5. There's only one other player to even have like close to that number, and it's 15, and that's Drew Brees. So just a ridiculous stat line that I came
Huh.
across with Mahomes just being a just absolute elite monster in
Yeah.
week 1. So don't
Cool.
put your money
He
on
starts
anybody else but Mahomes week 1.
he starts the year hot. Okay. Noted. Noted. I think it was kind of cool to see Mahomes just come in, and there was a lot of talk this offseason about the Chiefs not being as good.
Mm-hmm.
I fell victim to that a little bit. I know they lost a lot of guys on the edge. That was my main concern. Like, they lost a lot of players defensively, and I forgot that a majority of this like mini Chiefs dynasty, air quotes dynasty, they've only won one Super Bowl, but they've not even had the best defense like around. Like, their defense has been like middling most of the time with
Yeah.
like some explosive players, but it's a middling defense, and they've still been elite. And guess what? They still have a middling defense, and they're still elite because they have the best quarterback in the game. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? My winner, and this is a shocking winner. I genuinely was really low on this guy, and it was never for a lack of talent or anything like that. It hasn't worked. He hasn't stayed healthy and all that good stuff. Saquon Barkley. This is the biggest winner individual of this week. Saquon coming into this year, I think it's year 4 for him, and he's kind of had a lot of injuries. And when he's been healthy the last couple of years, he hasn't been great. He's been okay. But when they drafted him, this was supposed to be like a Jonathan Taylor kind of turned into, or Christian McCaffrey, like that high end kind of a guy that can carry an offense. And last night, he had 164 yards against a defense last year that was the best against the run. The Titans were the best defensive team against the run. They allowed the least amount of rushing yards per game last year. He put up 164 in a stinker of a game. Ryan Tannehill's cooked. And the Giants get a win. They're over 500. I think Giants fans are ecstatic. This is the first time I think the Giants have won week 1 where I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl. So shout out to them for like maybe being realistic for once. But shout out to Saquon for hopefully starting this comeback, and the Dable era is going strong for him, and hopefully he's unlocked by that. Shout out Saquon.
Shout out Saquon. It's funny that you mentioned Dable and the boys, because that was actually one of my winners.
Yeah.
Dable and the Giants, because watching the game, it didn't feel like we were watching a Giant game. Like they were making moves. They seemed like a competent football team with like a coach that knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting, being a team that just has had some nonsense happen to them with coaches and everything. Just not being good. So the fact that Dable comes in, I know it's only week 1, but it's a really good note to write off into the season with, especially taking down the Titans.
Yeah.
So, but since you took my winner, I'm gonna go ahead and hop on the losers.
Okay, about time. It's about time.
NFL kickers.
Oof. Oof.
They missed 15 kicks yesterday, including the Titans kicker,
which could have won the game at the end.
Yeah, Randy Bullock just lost them the game. We had OT kicks that were just going back and forth. We had game winners getting blocked. We had safeties kicking the ball because the OG kicker just gets hurt, and it was just not a fun time to be an NFL kicker yesterday, because man was it bad. 15 missed kicks. There was 14 games going on, I think. 15 missed kicks. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And yikes.
Yeah. It was bad. It was really bad. It was really bad. Especially like week 1. Like, you're not tired yet. Like, if there's any position in the league that shouldn't come out rusty, it's the kickers, because like you have a fresh leg.
you got a fresh leg, and it's not like you got a game plan for defenses or
No,
offenses and scheme and
there's
stuff.
no
You
planning.
literally can practice the one thing that you got to do every day if you want to, as
Yeah.
many times as you want, and it will never change.
And you know what's the real issue with
Never.
the kickers this week? There were so many game winners that were missed. Like
Yeah.
you said, the overtimes,
And
several missed an overtime. The Titans missed a game winner. I mean, the Browns hit their game winner. Shout out to the rookie. They tweeted like, "That's why you draft a kicker." They were the only team to draft a kicker this year. He had a game winner. He actually had a really good game. So shout out to him.
Young Hoku got his kick blocked, but I mean that was like a 60-something yarder.
Yeah,
so
that in theory.
I'm not going to count that,
there.
but if he got it up in the air, who knows? It was a game winner opportunity, but
He missed it.
he did miss it.
He missed it. So
they did lose.
there's a lot of game winners that were missed, and that sucks. Kickers do better. That's it. That's a tweet.
Do better.
I will say too,
What's
piggyback off that, a winner is the Vikings not being victim to the kickers being terrible in a week. There's a week where kickers were horrible and the Vikings were not victim. Look at God. A loser though. I have a really big loser.
Okay.
You remember the episode of SpongeBob where it's just like, no, I'm the biggest loser on the beach. You remember that? Yeah, Carson Wentz, you're the biggest loser on the beach. Carson Wentz has endured a lot of slander during his career, right? He had an MVP caliber season. He gets a little bit hurt, so he doesn't wind up winning it. They win a Super Bowl without him. One, cool, you got a ring. That's awesome. It's kind of embarrassing. You have an MVP season and they win it without you. That's kind of embarrassing. That means you just weren't that important. Then he winds up going to the Colts last year and single-handedly throws their season. I watched it happen. He threw their season. It was embarrassing. And then he gets traded after one season because they're like, you know what? That was so embarrassing that we're going to send you out to a team that was racist 3 years ago, and now they're the Commanders. Shout out to the Commanders. Jerseys look great. And they win this game. So how much of a loser can you be when you win your game? But he is. Carson Wentz looked absolutely horrible. Just horrible. He made so many piss poor throws that you've seen him make every single year. The classic Carson Wentz interception is he gets pressure in the pocket. It collapses on him. He doesn't step up into the pocket, and he tries and throw like a check down to a wide receiver or a running back. And it's not a running back. It's the defender. It's the D lineman. And it's a pick. He does it like 5 times a year. And he did it in the third quarter. Like he didn't even wait a full game. And I know one of my buddies, shout out Will, he saw like that pick and then there was one other and he was like, I thought I was at least going to be able to stand like the Carson Wentz era for a couple of weeks. He's like, week 1, I want him gone. And yeah, I mean, he sucks. He's genuinely a bad quarterback. He's a nice guy though. You're a great dude.
It's almost like we didn't care that he went to Washington. But when it happened, we were like, cool, statistically and on paper, like maybe it could be a cool thing, but we know. You could dress the ugly horse all you want, but
yeah,
that boy gonna be, he's not gonna get it done.
No, and like this is the ultimate tell, right? Like if you're not paying attention, he had over 300 yards. He was like 66% throwing. That's pretty good on paper, right? He had a 46 QBR. That's terrible. That stinks. That's not good. So there's my slander tour. I'm going to be continuing my Carson Wentz slander all season.
I'm here for it. This is week 1.
Yes, sir. I got to pick somebody early, and it's him.
This is true. Loser. The AFC South.
Yes.
We had one game, the Jaguars. They end up playing the Commanders. They lose.
They blew that game, too. They should have won it.
They blew it. Very tough. Titans. They play the Giants. They have a chance to win it. They also blow the game.
Nope.
They lose. The Texans and the Colts.
The worst game in a week.
They play each other. They play each other. So we only had 3 games of like AFC
matchups
possibilities. They tie. So nobody in the AFC South got a win in week 1. And 2 of them played each other. And if that's not being a loser as a collective group, I don't know what is.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is. We almost had 2 ties in week 1. We had to get a game winner for a buzzer beater with no time on the clock to not get 2 ties. Are you kidding me?
Shout out Pittsburgh.
Shout out Pittsburgh, man.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow also looked terrible in the first half. 4 turnovers. So complimentary loser right there.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing Joe as a loser, but I kind of like came back to my rational brain where it's like, yeah, they turned the ball over 6 times, but they still should have won the game. Like they literally still should have won the game. Like, so I'm not going to call them a loser for it because if anything, it's an indictment on the Pittsburgh offense more than it is on anything in that game. Pittsburgh literally should have won this game by like 48 points, but Mitch Trubisky stinks. And he's not a loser either because they won the game. So whatever. And we knew he was going to be bad. Like at least Carson, there was like a slight bit of hope. There was like, oh, well, he was statistic. No, Mitch Trubisky stinks. We know this. My loser, though, I'm going to piggyback off your divisional loser, the NFC West.
Okay.
The NFC West was the best division in football last year. It wasn't particularly close. They had the Super Bowl champion. The Cardinals were 9-0. The 49ers were a dropped interception away from going to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And then the Seahawks had Russell Wilson, and that was cool. He's the best quarterback in that division, so that was cool. But you go from all that good to the Cardinals get blown out by the Chiefs, who people thought the Chiefs were going to be worse. Clearly, the Chiefs are not worse. The Chiefs might be better offensively than they were last year. And they look terrible at home.
Scary.
The Rams get blown out on opening day. Matthew Stafford looked confused. There's people calling him racist because he won't throw the ball to Allen Robinson. And they couldn't stop a nosebleed. Like, Josh Allen just ripped through them. Also, Jalen Ramsey had a literal perfect QBR he let up. He was targeted 6 times, let up 5 catches for 3 touchdowns, like 154. He gave up a perfect QBR. That's not a DB1. I'll just say that right now. It's not a DB1. Cooked. Barbecue chicken. Then the San Francisco 49ers go into Chicago, and granted, it was a slip and slide out there, right? They were literally playing at like, Islands of Adventure over here in Tampa, where it's just wet. Or it's Adventure Island, sorry. Adventure Island, where it's just wet everywhere. They're slipping and sliding. There's a video of a guy eating popcorn. It's dumping on him. He dumps it out. This is pretty good. Trey Lance looked horrible. He didn't know what he was doing. He looked lost. They couldn't keep pressure off of him, which is scary because the 49ers have a great O-line. George Kittle's one of the best blocking tight ends. I know he didn't play today. So I guess he's that important that, like, once he's not there, they forget how to block, which, I mean, again, fair enough. He might be the best blocker on that team. And the Bears have 3 legitimately good players. 3. On the whole roster. The entire roster. And they lost to the Bears. They give up 19 and lost. They only scored 10 points. And now the Seahawks are going to get embarrassed on national TV tonight because they're playing Russell Wilson. He's going to go Broncos country, let's ride. Cortland Sutton's going to go for 122. Jerry Jeudy's going to have 2 tutties. And no, they're going to be a division without a win because they all stink, at least early on. They don't all stink. I do think the 49ers are fine. I do think the Rams are fine. But
yeah, the Rams in Arizona, like I'm sure that they get it together.
Same thing with the 49ers. Like, I think they'll get it together, but if there's anything that's really concerning, it's losing to the Bears. If you saw any like things coming into this game, it was like, hey, Trey Lance is new and it's gonna take some adjustment, but he's playing the Bears. Like, that was the narrative. So it's like he has a gimme game to get into it. And I can't imagine him playing against a team with a good D-line. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh man. I got one more loser for you.
Okay.
the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott's ligaments and
Yeah.
bones.
Yeah. Dak Prescott
It's
is glass
so
bones, paper skin.
unfortunate, and I feel so bad for him. I really want to see Dak on the field because nobody ever wants to see players get hurt. But that being said, Cowboys every year the Cowboy fans are contenders in their mind,
In their
and I mean
mind.
in theory they could be,
It's done.
but the fact
Cooked.
you got the whole offseason. You guys put up 3 against the Bucks on prime time. If you put up 3 in the early window, cool.
It's fine.
Prime time. You're the Cowboys. You got Jerry Jones sitting up in the box.
At home.
At home. What, 80,000? Something like that? 60,000? You guys got a big stadium. A lot of fans. A lot of hopeless fans waiting for mediocrity to happen throughout the season. And they get it week 1. You ain't even try to trick them.
Nah.
And then to make it even worse, Dak goes down, and now you lose him for what is it, 6 to 8 weeks? And just like, bro, you lose him for the whole season 2 years ago. You get him back, he plays great, and now just swept off your field again. And it's like, that's really tough. And you guys are losers, unfortunately. Hate to see it.
It's really tough too, and I mean nothing went right for them in this game. Zeke wasn't that good. I mean he got 5 a touch, but they only gave it to him 10 times. Again, Dak gets hurt. They scored 3 points. They scored in the opening drive and went the rest of the game without scoring at home. And this was the bit. I was saying it all night. I said, imagine waiting 9 months for a team you're really excited about that you assume are at least in the conversation for contenders. I don't think they were ever like upper echelon of that, but they're in the conversation. And they got worse. They did get worse. But you come into the season, you're excited. It's opening week, Sunday Night Football, at home, a revenge game because opening week last week was an amazing game with these two squads. Yeah. And you get embarrassed, for lack of a better word. Tom Brady didn't look that great. The only guy in the Bucs that looked really good offensively was Mike Evans and Leonard Fournette. And they put a whooping on you. So, yeah, Cowboys, you're a loser. Sorry.
Godwin goes down, which is really tough for the Bucs. Hopefully that's not too serious.
Yeah, I feel like we say that all the time, too. Another injury-prone dude. Super unlucky. Super unlucky. Another loser is Baker Mayfield. Another revenge game. He looked pretty darn terrible. When the game was close, he looked horrible. When the game was not close and there was like a 2-score disparity, he looked a lot better. Who does that remind you of in seasons past? Like Baker Mayfield or like Kirk Cousins, like guys like that who like kind of get the stats up when it doesn't matter. That's what Baker did last night. I don't really know if it's more of an indictment of him or just the Panthers as an organization. I think their head coach stinks. I think they don't really have a good direction. And the Browns with Jacoby Brissett, who even got hurt at some point in this game, looked well in control for a majority of it, and he didn't get his revenge. And that's kind of loser written all over it. This game was destined for Baker to go off and beat his old team, and he failed.
He could have wrote like all the wrongs, just change whatever narrative he wanted.
Yeah. Literally, just any narrative.
Walk away with your head high. You don't gotta do nothing. But now, you don't do it. So now the questions are still there. Were you the problem? Were you the issues?
It's the am I the drama?
Yeah.
No, it's the Browns still, but you were part of it.
Yeah.
You were part of it. I have another winner, and I think this is a pretty cool winner too. Second half, Jameis looked amazing, but mostly Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas, once they got the air game running, I mean, he had 2 touchdowns, and both of those catches were like high difficulty catches. They were like Michael Thomas can't guard Mike type catches.
They were sick.
So, welcome back to Mike. He looked really good. And if you forgot about him, which I don't blame you, it's been almost 2 years since we've seen him play. This guy's legit, and he's one of the best receivers in the league. So, welcome back, Mike. I'm happy for you. Wish you weren't on the Saints, but welcome back.
Yeah, the first half had me worried. I was like, damn, this is the Saints that we're going to get?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want this. I
Yeah,
want the
because
Saints to be.
if you guys
like,
were watching this game too, the Falcons didn't want to win. Like they were trying to lose,
no, so
and they tried enough to where they let the field goal get blocked to win it. So tough. Got any other winners? Or am I going off? I got a couple.
Shout out. I mentioned him a little bit before, but shout out to Tyreek Hill in Miami. You got Tua throwing him some nice balls that he went up, just stole a pick away from somebody.
Yeah.
He was looking good out there. And I mean the Dolphins all together, they were looking great, but you got Mac Jones on the other side. So how impressive is it? I don't know. We'll see. But it's something to watch out for as the weeks unfold. But the Patriots look like they're going to be bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, that's maybe
AFC
the
East.
biggest team loser this week is the Patriots. The Patriots offense is going to be the worst in football. And that's including the Bears. Like they will be the worst offense in football. They just look lost out there, man.
Yeah.
Like really bad. I got another winner, and it's some of the new head coaches, right? Again, we mentioned the Saints, brand new head coach. They get in there, get a really gritty second half adjustment based win, and that's a big deal. And you know, there's something to be said about starting off a new coach's era on the right foot, right? Nobody wants to have a brand new head coach. They come in, they get blown out the gym, and I know a lot of times when you get a new head coach, the teams are bad. That's typically how it goes. But starting off a new era with a win is such a big deal. So the Saints do it. The Vikings come out. They have a whole new regime. Like everybody is brand new. They looked fantastic yesterday. I don't want to talk too much about the Vikings because obviously it's the homer pick, but like they looked incredible yesterday. They really did. Yeah. Shout out to those two teams in particular.
Absolutely. There's a lot of new coaches around the league too.
A lot of them.
I think all but two had a win yesterday.
Again, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Very, very cool to see like when the new guys get their shine. Yeah, the Dolphins, Mike McDaniels, I'm pretty sure that's his name. He got the dub. I'm trying to think of who else is even like a new head coach. Dable, obviously. And the cool one about the Dable win with the Giants, he decided, I want this win. And they got the game tying touchdown. And all they have to do is kick an extra point to tie it. He went for 2, they got it, and they won by 1. And that was sick. That was cool. He was like, I want this win. And they went and got it. Then he was hitting the gritty and all that in the locker room, which was cool. Yeah.
Love to see it.
The locker room dances are awesome.
Yeah. Mike Tomlin was doing the AB.
Yeah. The AB. Ugh. Man. That's one of the winners, though. That Steelers defense is legit.
Yeah.
And then it's also simultaneously a loser because TJ Watt, who was a wrecking ball in that game, like, holy hell, did he destroy the Bengals. Tears his pec, and so we don't know how long he's going to be out, but he's going to be out for a while. And that sucks because he's really good. He's really, really good. But I think that's all we got for winners and losers. I don't know if you have any more. I think that's about it for me.
Yeah, that's about it.
Cool, because that's perfect because since we don't have anything else for you, we got a guy that you guys have seen recently, but not in this setting. Gerard over in the fantasy corner to let you know who did the best in fantasy this week and who to look forward to next week. Sit or start. Gerard, take it away, brother.
What's up, spectators? It's your boy G-Man. We're back again with Fantasy Corner. This year, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to be talking about the top 3 quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers from the previous week. And I'm going to give you guys my list of people that you should be putting in your starting lineup, and as well as some waiver ads for this week that you should be looking forward to, depending on how deep your league goes. Promised land, baby. Let's go get it. QB1 this week was Patrick Mahomes. He went for 360 yards, 5 touchdowns for 33.9 fantasy points. Quarterback number 2 is none other than your boy Josh Allen. 297 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 on the ground for a total of 33.5 fantasy points. Running back 1 this week was Saquon Barkley. He had 194 total yards of offense and a touchdown, 32.4 fantasy points. Running back number 2 is none other than Jonathan Taylor, who was last year's running back 1. 161 yards and a touchdown for him as well, bringing his total to 27.5 fantasy points. Deandre Swift is your running back 3. He had 170 total yards of offense and a touchdown, bringing his fantasy total to 26.5 points. Wide receiver 1, it was a massacre by Justin Jefferson and the Vikings. 184 yards, 2 touchdowns on 9 receptions for a total of 39.4 fantasy points. Cooper Kupp is wide receiver 2, no surprise there. He had 128 yards, a touchdown off 13 catches for 31.8 fantasy points. Adams is your wide receiver 3. Devontae Adams had 10 catches for 141 yards and a touchdown in a loss to the Chargers. Wide receivers I'm looking at playing this week is Juju Smith-Schuster. With the Kansas City offense being as fluid as it looked yesterday, there's a lot of targets. There's a lot of opportunities to go around. I think Juju's going to take a good amount of those targets, being reliable, so I'm looking at him. And I'm also looking at people like Devin Duvernay for the Baltimore Ravens. Him and Lamar have that connection. They have it. 2 touchdowns in his first game of the season. Not saying he's going to score 2 touchdowns every week because that's just not going to happen, but he is a reliable connection to have, and I'm looking to play him going forward until he proves me wrong. Staying on the same boat with the Kansas City Chiefs, running back I'm looking to play is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He had 2 touchdowns in his first game with the Chiefs. Like I said, with this offense and Tyreek Hill gone, there's a lot of open targets. There's a lot of open opportunities for players to step up, and I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire showed he's ready to take that step and be one of the most reliable options for Patrick Mahomes. Another person I'm looking at is Antonio Gibson. Looks like he is out of Ron Rivera's doghouse, at least in the time being, until Brian Robinson gets back. We'll see how that goes, probably week 5, week 6. But for right now, looking at playing Antonio Gibson, he's getting a lot of touches in his offense with Carson Wentz as like a check down option. So definitely look at Antonio Gibson and moving forward. Some quick waiver wire ads I'm looking at for this coming week. I'm looking at Khalil Herbert for the Chicago Bears. He outperformed David Montgomery and with less touches, so I think as the season goes on, he's going to have a bigger workload. Jeff Wilson from the San Francisco 49ers. Elijah Mitchell went down with a knee injury. Don't know what's going to be up with him, so in the meantime, we know Kyle Shanahan loves Jeff Wilson, so he can be a good stream going forward. I'm also looking at Jaylen Warren. He's the backup for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Najee went down with a foot injury. He left in a walking boot. Take that as you may, but if Najee does have to miss some time, Jaylen Warren is going to be their bell cow. Wide receiver waiver targets I'm looking at. Jarvis Landry from the New Orleans Saints. He looks to be Jameis Winston's favorite option. Michael Thomas did ball out, but I still like Jarvis Landry over there in that offense. I think him and Jameis have a really good rapport, and I like them to continue that for the rest of the season. I'm also looking at players like Jahan Dotson, the rookie from the Washington Commanders. He scored 2 touchdowns in his first debut, and yes, him being a rookie, he's going to have his peaks and his valleys, but he ran a route on 97% of Carson Wentz passing plays, but he only targeted at 12%. So take that as you may. I still like Jahan Dotson long-term going forward. Joshua Palmer, he'll be the number 2 wide receiver behind Mike Williams while Keenan Allen rests up. I don't know how long he's going to be out. But in the meantime, Joshua Palmer is a good, reliable option that you can pick up in your fantasy leagues. Well, that's it for Fantasy Corner Week 1. Make sure y'all tune in this Monday night. Broncos versus Seahawks, Monday Night Football. It's going to be epic. You got a chance to win. You got Russell Wilson, Javonte Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Rashad Penny. Those are some big names on this game. Take a look at them, see what you need. Wish y'all the best. Peace.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Gerard. Appreciate you always in the Fantasy Corner. Good to see you back. Good to have you back over on this side. This time of year is great for them. So shout out to the boy. And we're going to wrap up some stuff from the week because obviously not only NFL happened this week. We have pennant races going on over in baseball. One of the coolest things happening in baseball right now is that Albert Pujols decided that he wants to be the best hitter in the world for the last month or so. And Pujols hits 2 homers this weekend. He is at 697, officially passing Alex Rodriguez for 4th all-time in home runs. He is 3 homers away. And every single time that we've said, like, oh, he's 7, 8 away, like, there's only a month left, he's not going to do it, which was fair, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like that was fair. He's 3 away. There's a month left. Is he going to hit 700? The thing is, he's not playing every day, and he's still going off like this whenever he's in there.
Like, he's on a tear right now. It's not like he's just hitting a couple here and there. He's on a tear. So the fact that he only got to hit 3, man, I really hope it happens. Because it, like you said, he passed A-Rod. And it sucks that A-Rod wasn't able to get those last 3. Like, that's always going to be there with him. Regardless of everything else that happened with A-Rod. He was right there.
He was so close.
Pujols is right there. And the fact that Pujols has done it the right way as well and has just been a class act his whole career, including this one moment that actually happened with his 697 home run ball. A fan caught it, and he just told her to keep it because she had some things going on in her life, like her dad died, all that. And he was like, just keep it. It means more to you than me. Signed 2 balls for her, gave it to her, and it's like, that's so sick.
Yeah.
That's
Very cool.
And that's just Pujols for you.
That's Pujols for you.
So I really hope that he makes it happen because that's going to be so cool.
Dude, the crazy part about Pujols this year, too, this man has 18 homers. He's like 42. He's 18 home runs. He only has 250 at-bats. It's not like he's playing that much.
And it's funny because he gets put into the home run derby, and we're all like, why is he here? Like,
and to be fair, that kind of was like just to do it. But he actually
and he only had, what, 6 at the time?
Yeah, it wasn't much.
Yeah, he only had 6. He went on a tear in the derby, damn near like almost made a run and won it. So like that was wild. And then right after that, he's just been balling.
Yeah.
So
145 OPS plus on the season.
But then it's cool that we got a 700 race right now, and then we also have another race for a home run record for the American League home run record with Aaron Judge. And that alone right there is just something special that we're watching.
Yeah, Aaron Judge has just like been different. Like there's not really another way to say it. He has been.
This ain't even Yankee bias. This is
this has been insane. And so this was yesterday. This was before the game yesterday. And I don't know if I told you the stat line or not, but before the game yesterday, in his last 49 games, Aaron Judge has been hitting 373 with a 514 on base percentage, 852 slugging. It's not an OPS, that's slugging. He has 24 homers, 8 stolen bases, 5.2 F WAR, and 247 WRC plus in 49 games. 5 WAR in 49 games. There have been guys who have won MVPs with a 5.2 WAR.
It's ridiculous.
And he did it in 50 games. And I mean, he's been out of his mind. He's gone 5 days without a home run, and we're like, oh my God, he's still on the 63 home run pace. Don't worry. He's
Bro, he got walked like, what was it?
He got intentionally walked 5 times in the second half of the Twins series. It wasn't even the whole series.
Ridiculous.
So he's still on pace to break Roger Maris's American League home run record at 61. If he does break it, he'll be the first non-steroid user since Roger Maris to hit 60, which is crazy. And I mean, there's really not enough good things to say about him. He's been the best player in baseball this year, besides like healthy Mike Trout, which I'm not going to compare that. That's rude. That's comparing a wagon to a Mercedes. Like that's rude.
And I asked you this question a couple of days ago, but like, if Judge goes ahead and breaks the home run record, he manages to get Triple Crown. He's about like 10.010 batting average lower than the leaders, Xander Bogaerts with 319. If he manages to get the Triple Crown and manages to get MVP, which is he should win it. It's just a matter of what are they going to do with Ohtani. And that. So I say manage because you would think it's a surefire. Yeah. But if he manages to do all that, Triple Crown, MVP, home run record, is that the like greatest single season from any player?
No, because Barry Bonds exists. But
like stat wise.
Again, no, because Barry Bonds exists. Barry Bonds had a season.
I'm sorry, not stat wise, like awards wise.
Okay, awards wise.
Correction.
So Triple Crown, MVP, obviously Silver Slugger. Not gonna win a Gold Glove this year.
No Gold Glove, but then the home run record as well.
So the home run record, MVP, Triple Crown, probably. I think the only way to be better would be to win a Gold Glove too. And then the real way that we talked about this too is like if he does all that and then the Yankees do make a run and they get a World Series and he gets World Series MVP, which obviously that's like the biggest like what if situation ever. That's so
and that's why I left that part out.
Yeah, but like obviously if all of those things happen, that's the best single season by a player probably ever in terms of just like accolades and like the things that you've done. There'll be better statistical seasons, but like not many. Not many. And it's kind of sad though because I don't think he's gonna win that Triple Crown. He is pretty far below, and there's 4 guys ahead of him, which is tough. With Nate Lowe, Arise, Bogarts, maybe Jose Abreu. I don't remember if he is or not. But I know Bogarts is leading that right now. The real shame though is that Paul Goldschmidt, who's gonna win MVP. He's gonna win MVP in the National League. So shout out to Paul for like I think calling it a career revitalization is a little rude because he's been good his whole career, but he is like brought back that MVP caliber play that he's shown in the past. Is not going to win a Triple Crown now because Freddie Freeman's literally hitting 3 hits a game right now. Freddie Freeman's out of his mind. Yeah. And it's like Freddie has had the most casual 5-WAR season I think I've ever seen. Like nobody's talking about Freddie Freeman despite like him being the best left-handed hitter in baseball at the moment.
Be like that.
It certainly do be like that. it certainly do be like that. But yeah, so Judge is again. We're hoping, in just terms of baseball, that he breaks the record. It's really cool to see this race between him and Shohei too, where it's just like Judge is doing such amazing things that many people are like he's the MVP over the guy who's like top 5 in ERA and top 5 in home runs.
It sucks because it feels like Judge has to do so much more.
Yeah.
When Shohei's already doing more. But even if Shohei was like a little bit more mediocre in both things, I feel like they still give it to him because he's doing it in 2 different positions.
He just happens to be kind of elite at both, which is which is crazy.
So it's like Judge has to break a home run record. He has to potentially get Triple Crown in order for him to even have an opportunity to win MVP because you just got this dude going nuts on the other side of the country.
Yeah, and I mean Shohei had like 3 home runs this week. It's just wild. Then they get Mike Trout back. He had 6 straight games of a home run this week. Like, oh wow, he's healthy and he's doing great. Who would have thought? And I saw something.
They benched him, and I got him on my fantasy team, and I was upset because it's the playoffs, and I'm potentially going to lose now because we didn't play him.
Yeah, that's for another. That's brutal. I won. Couldn't be me. I'll be safe. But crazy that with Trout too. I saw a tweet. I don't know how real it is. I didn't do the numbers. I'm not gonna crunch them either, so don't care. If he was healthy all year, he'd be on pace for 60 home runs as well, and that's scary.
Sheesh.
Yeah. That's uncomfortable, and I don't like it. So, Trout's wild. Been Mike Trout. Who would have thought? I mean,
we don't see him enough, so
we don't see him enough. They did a really dirty graphic. They played the Astros this weekend, and the Astros, what's it called? The stream or the game. They had a graphic that was like most playoff games played since 2018 or 2017, whatever year they decided to pick from. Justin Turner was at the top with 80. Then it was like Correa at 79. It was Jock Peterson at 79. Then it was Altuve, Yuli Gurriel. There was like one other Astro on that list. A lot of Astros. At the bottom, it said Trout and Ohtani, 0. It's like, come on, man. We get it. We know. I promise. I promise. And then before we get out of here, because I'm excited for the game tonight, and we got to get these episodes out. But We do have football next week, of course. What game are you excited for?
Just off rip, you gotta look at that Thursday game, bro. Chargers and the Chiefs. Both of them came out hot this week. Chiefs a little bit hotter. Chargers kind of cooled down a little bit
Yeah.
after I think they made their last score with like 7 minutes in the third. That was it for the rest of the game. But they looked really good. And that game I'm super excited for because those two can very easily come out of the AFC. So
Yeah. It's also probably it's like those two and Josh Allen, but like those are like the two best quarterbacks in the league, and then Josh is like in that mix too. But for narrative sake, for this game and excitement, they're the two best quarterbacks in the league. Yeah, so that's an exciting one. I'm excited for the other primetime game. They actually gave us good primetime games this week. But the Vikings Eagles, the Eagles offense looked really, really good this week. I think there's a lot of hype going in for the Eagles, and that was all warranted. They looked pretty good against the Lions, despite giving up a lot of points. And I think that's why this game is going to be so good, because if they're going to give up 35 to the Lions, I don't want to see what's going to happen with this new Vikings offense. And this could be a really, really fun game.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm
right
excited
there
for.
with you. The like mid and early windows, there's not too many exciting matchups. Like there's gonna be good games, but there's not matchups that you look at like Falcons Rams. I don't.
Jets Browns, like I don't care.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Texans Broncos. Are you kidding me? Like Cardinals Raiders, cool. Bucks Saints, nice.
They gave us a good one with the Bengals Cowboys, but now with Dak out, it's nowhere near as good.
Yeah, it's not even gonna be so.
Yeah.
But all the prime time, I'm pretty happy with. And it's funny because if the Packers play any way like they did this week, Packers Bears is going to be a shootout.
Yeah, that might be a good game.
It's going to be a shootout, and it's going to be 7-14 or 7-10 as a final score.
It won't happen again. Not against the Bears.
No, not at all.
No.
Packers
I mean, imagine though.
Run away with the game,
dude, imagine the Bears win next week and they're 2-0. Packers are 0-2. 2 divisional losses. They lose to the Bears at home. Aaron might retire.
He's taking his money and running.
He might just retire. Make it happen. I've never rooted for the Bears more in my life.
Bears.
The Bears. But thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. We appreciate you guys. If you have any winners or losers of your own for this week, you let us know. Whether it's on the comments down below, whether it's on Twitter or Instagram in our comments. Let us know who you guys think won, lost, all that good stuff for the NFL, and who you're excited for going forward, because this is exciting with football being back. College football is going on too. Shout out to Alabama for almost losing. Texas, you're almost back. Not fully, but almost back. And I'm excited for the rest of this football season. So thank you guys again. Make sure you're following us at Spectators Media on all the platforms. And we'll see you next week for episode 155. Peace.